Welcome to the Island Treasures mini podcast for caregivers. I'm your host and certified caregiving consultant, Alison Vanshee of Alongside Caregiver Consulting. This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Cabin Tilly Contractors in the Comox Valley on beautiful Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada, where we care too. So much has happened since Theresa Wilbanks was a guest on the Island Treasures podcast in 2020 in the episode called When Winning is Losing and Losing is Winning. Theresa was full on caregiving for her 99-year-old dad when that podcast first aired. Shortly after the podcast, however, her dad passed away and she found herself needing to press the reset button. So she and her husband took a 3-month trip to do exactly that, to reset after caregiving. In the full episode, Nurturing Caregiver Wellbeing During and After Caregiving, Theresa shares about her adventures as they were camping. Since her dad's passing, Theresa has also written a book, Navigating the Caregiver River, a journey to sustainable caregiving, and this serves as a guidebook for caregivers. Theresa's hope for the book is that it will be just like a big hug for family caregivers, a hug designed so that you feel that you're not alone as caregivers. Whether you are dipping your toes in the waters of caregiving or grabbing hold of the raft as you travel down the rapids of the Caregiver River, this book can help prepare you to navigate for your caregiving. You can see it as an opportunity and not lose sight of who you are along the way. And certainly it's designed to help you stay aboard the raft. As Theresa shared about the content of the book and the lessons she learned that complement the sustainable caregiving strategies she developed from her experience, she and I had a revelation that these strategies are self-caregiving strategies. And out of that moment, the discussions began for the two of us to create a limited series podcast to discuss one of the strategies per episode with the goal to empower caregivers and enhance their caregiving journey. If you listened to the full episode, or if you were able to listen to the full episode already, you will have heard that very moment when the aha moment happened. But in case you haven't heard it yet, here it is. When it wasn't working at the beginning, you found a way to adapt it. And you've done that through all of the things you do through self-caregiving. Self-caregiving.
I love that.
We should coin that, actually.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Self-caregiving. Oh my gosh. We
Yeah.
definitely need to do something with that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
If you can relate to the Caregiver River analogy with its rapids, waterfalls, rocks, and hazards along the way, you may welcome your own big hug from Theresa by obtaining a copy of her book. And if you find yourself needing supports and a fast track to resources, check out sustainablecaregiving.com or tap into alongsidecaregiverconsulting.ca. And certainly watch out for the new podcast that Theresa and I are co-hosting called Self-Caregiving Strategies. And you can find it on the Whole Care Network or on your favorite podcast platform. I recognize how precious your time is, especially as caregivers. And so this mini podcast is designed just for you. And when you have more time, I invite you to listen to the full episode called Nurturing Caregiver Wellbeing During and After Caregiving. And while you're at it, make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for listening to this mini version or watching the video version of the mini podcast. And thank you to Theresa Wilbanks for being the first return guest and resharing your wisdom and insights. Take care.